Good morning or good evening whenever you're watching this, or maybe good afternoon. Welcome back to Ladybug Grace, the Daily Devotional folder. And today is Wednesday the 13th. Why we hesitate to trust is the message. But before we begin our prayer, Father, as I read and receive your word, may it deeply be rooted in me. So when difficulty comes, it'll be your word that encourages and strengthens me. So we're going to be in Luke 5, verses 1 to 11. Trying to get that straight. I think that's all where it needs to be. Now it happened that while the crowd was pressing around him and listening to the word of God, he was standing by the lake of Gennesaret, and he saw two boats lying at the edge of the lake. But the fishermen had gotten out of the boat and were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, which was Simon's, and asked him to put out a little way from the land. And he sat down and began teaching the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, Put out into deep water and let down your nets for a catch. Simon answered and said, Master, we worked hard all night and caught nothing, but I will do as you say and let down my nets. When they had done this, they enclosed a great quantity of fish, and their nets began to break. So they signaled to their partners on the other boat for them to come and help them. And they came and filled both of the boats, so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw that, he fell down at Jesus' feet, saying, Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man. For amazement had seized him and all his companions because of the catch of fish which they had taken. And so also were James and John, son of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, Do not fear, from now on you will be catching men. When they had brought their boats to land, they left everything and followed him. Today's passage takes place on the Sea of Galilee. Let's see, is that big enough, I hope? Oh, sorry. I won't be able to get everything in if I don't. Well, after the optimal time of day for fishing has passed, the fishermen are cleaning their nets along the shore, but at Jesus' request, one lowers his into the water. All of Peter's expertise tells him that the fish at such an hour will be useless. But he does what Jesus asked, and the reward for his trust is a record-breaking and net-breaking catch. As believers, we want to be like the disciple, overcoming our doubts and courageously following God. But sometimes if what he's asking of us seems unreasonable, we might rely on human logic to decide whether to trust him. There could also be a tendency to hesitate in situations for which our knowledge or experience seems to contradict his plan. There is a time for seeking knowledge and godly counsel, but when the Lord makes his will clear, we are meant to act. No opinion matters except that of the Lord, who promises to always be working for our good, and who never makes mistakes. The next time you find yourself doubting, think about what is causing you to hesitate. Then you can pray specifically to overcome the faith hurdle, knowing that God blesses the steps we take to follow. I just noticed. Oh, my alarm's going off. Hang on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I forgot to pause my alarm for the day. Today's passage of the Sea of Galilee. A day for fishing. The fishermen are clearing their nets, but Jesus' request. So yes, I know for me personally, trusting has become harder because I have been let down a lot. So in a human sense, I don't want to catch myself on that. I don't know how I would have reacted at that time if that would have. I mean, even in this day and age, if that were something similar to happen, that would equate to me that if I were to trust, that I would be. I can't even think one that would equate to what I do personally in my everyday life, but I do have faith. I have to say that when bad things happen, that I'm going through some trials right now, that I put my trust in him to guide me and to answer. So maybe that's the same kind of equivalent to what they did back in the day. I'm going to assume that's what I'm going to take this. And anyway, I don't really know what else to say to that. But anyway, I hope you have a great day and a blessed day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.